misdemeanors Monday for engaging in prostitution and possession of criminal tools. York was arrested in East Palestine, Ohio, a town about 50 miles northwest of Pittsburgh. The NFL is investigating to see if York has violated the league's code of conduct policy. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley.
Culture in my lifetime has been as impactful, if not more impactful, than politics or law or any other pursuit or business. I like to say culture is undefeated.
Culture is undefeated. That's what Council President Marquise Harris Dawson says. And you know what? He's right. Culture is undefeated. But here's the problem. You don't get to celebrate the culture while ignoring the people who created it. And that's where this procrastination Crenshaw conversation gets real. As you know, the community sent a formal letter to Harris Dawson. We're still waiting for an official response from the city. The deadline is Friday, September 4th. But in the interim, Harris Dawson penned an open letter to the community. Okay, that's fine, but responding is not the same as answering. That said, let's not confuse fixing the parking, repairing the streetlights, and repaving streets and sidewalks with finishing Destination Crenshaw. The community was promised a transformational project. So, where is it? When is this thing going to be finished? The council president says the project is being delivered on a timeline. What timeline? That's not an unreasonable question, and that's not an attack. It's not division. That is accountability. And then there's the business interruption money. So in his letter, Harris Dawson says that more than $1 million went to Doolin's on Crenshaw, and additional assistance went to a few other individuals. Oh, really? Who received the money? How much money? And who didn't? I can assure you a whole lot of folk didn't get that money. How do I know? I'm getting the phone calls. You see, transparency should not scare anybody. That's how accountability works. And that's why in our letter, we ask for an audit. But instead, what do we get? A discussion about Tavis Smiley, the pastor, the parishioners, the business owners, the people asking the questions, their motives, their ambitions, their character. Well, let me tell you something. When you can't answer the questions, attacking, insulting, and gaslighting the persons asking the questions doesn't make the questions disappear. It just makes people ask why you won't answer it. Let me be clear. We don't want to fight with the council president. We want the project finished because the people of Crenshaw are not on the sidelines, Mr. President. They are Crenshaw. And if culture really is undefeated, then respect the culture, respect the people, respect the businesses, and most importantly, respect the questions. Now, answer them. The Crenshaw Corridor community is still waiting, and September 4th is fast approaching. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Just talking louder and say nothing and say nothing.
Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Come on and talk with me.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Looking forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Good afternoon, everybody. I want to begin this hour with the hard truth about this country. Talent has never been in short supply in our community, never. We produce genius in cotton fields and geniuses in classrooms, geniuses under Jim Crow, and geniuses under surveillance. What has been in short supply is not the gift. What's been in short supply is the door. So the question that has haunted every generation of us is not, can we do the work? We've always done the work. The question is, who lets you into the room where the work gets rewarded? My first guest this afternoon is a physician who noticed something that bothered him. He noticed it in the exam room, he noticed it in the boardroom, and he noticed it in the young people he was mentoring. He noticed that the most talented person is not always the person who advances. So he sat down and he wrote a book about why. Dr. Kester Cross is a board-certified gastroenterologist and vice president of Gastro Health. He's the graduate of Hampton University and the University of Maryland School of Medicine. For more than 2 decades, he's led medical organizations and mentored students and young professionals coming up behind him. He's the author of the Amazon best-selling book, Open Doors, The Young Professional's Guide to Mastering Emotional Intelligence, Communication, Networking to Turn Talent into Career Success. He's married more than 20 years to Dr. Kissa Cross, a physician herself. They have 4 children, 3 of them at Hampton University right now, and 1 graduate of Spelman College. So understand this is not a theory in his house. This is practice. Because here's what he understands. The door is not the problem. The door never has been the problem. The key is. Dr. Kester Cross, welcome to KBLA Talk 1580.
Thank you. Appreciate the intro. And you were right on with the response that the key is opening the door, and who opens it for you, and do you keep it open for the next person, generation?
Dr. Cross, we have about 3 minutes before we have to take our break right here at KBLA. You're a gastroenterologist and a VP of Gastro Health. Doctors write medical books. Why a career book?
Right. Yeah. So I did 20 years in that. And once my career has kind of hit the pinnacle and you get to the mountaintop and you realize there's nothing up there, and I had to find my next passion. So the career book came from just finding out the why and what's next for me. And what was next for me is feeding and pouring into the next generation, not only my children, then my community, and the people that need to hear stuff that I wish I knew when I was coming up.
Doc, listen, was there a specific young person, a student, maybe even a resident whose talent you watched go unrewarded? Start with us there.
Yes. So,
how did you arrive at that?
Absolutely. I was there. One comes to mind in that I had a hire. I became company president in 2012, but I was on the board in 2005 and then became the treasurer in 2008. So I was part of the hiring process for our physicians. And we hired a Harvard Medical School, Hopkins trained physician that we knew we were going to really hit the ground running with this one. I mean, we had all of the resume needed, and we just really had trouble growing this physician's practice. And I just realized that perfect MCAT scores and SAT scores, all of that did not meet the mark when communication and interpersonal skills were an issue. So we did years of training, and really what we worked on was interpersonal skills and people skills, and that practice started to grow. So I knew then, and I started to think, hey, who are the leaders? And the leaders are the ones that have the emotional intelligence. And one day, everyone walks into a room when everyone is talented, and what separates them are the ones that have the emotional intelligence. And that's what we now hone in on and teach in my practice, my nurses and staff, and now I teach it to young people. It's very important.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Our very special guest in this hour is Dr. Kester Cross. When we come forward, we're going to have more conversations about emotional intelligence, what that means. Dr. Cross has coined a new term that matters to character and communication and how one is chosen. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. More on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh no! Turn the roof down.
I don't have time.
Please, God, save us. Save our house. Please, God, please.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we haven't forgotten what happened Tuesday, January 7th, 2025.
The trauma, processing the loss of our home. How do we address the compounding effect of the fire now more than 18 months later? I noticed one of my 3 children engaged in self-harm, who hasn't been able to articulate the challenges that they've had since the fire. And 4 out of the 5 folks in our household are in therapy. 1 is not. And the one that's not is the one who I noticed with some marks on their person. This isn't okay. You need to talk to someone.
Black historical memory keeps alive the stories and struggles of everyday people and communities. Black historical memory preserves truths that others attempt to erase, minimize, or distort. Black historical memory prevents history from repeating its worst chapters. At KBLA Talk 1580, we will never forget. Tune into Conversation Live, Altadena Forward with James Farr, weekends on KBLA Talk 1580.
The KBLA 1580 app puts the realest conversations right in your pocket. Stream live wherever you are in the world. No static. No searching the dial. A crystal clear connection 24/7, exactly when you want it. We recommend that you keep automatic updates enabled. Set it and forget it. So the app stays up to date with store requirements, bug fixes, and new features as we roll them out. Download the KBLA 1580 app today and stay plugged into the conversation everyone's having.
As a fitness coach, my active psoriatic arthritis can slow me down. With Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, I'm treating my skin and joint symptoms so I can keep moving. Skyrizi, a prescription-only injection for adults, helps me move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. And for those who have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible. With Skyrizi, there's no daily dosing. It's just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement. And that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
Just in case you missed our Procrastination Crenshaw Town Hall.
My name is Asata Umoja. I'm with the Hyde Park Organizational Partnership for Empowerment, which is at the southern end of Crenshaw. And this community has been greatly impacted. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we're most concerned about is just being totally neglected. And what I mean is being excluded from the process. When this project first started, they should have made sure that our organization, since we were most impacted, was in there. So we've been excluded, and we've seen commercial properties be taken for art projects. And we're very concerned about these are spaces that could help build economic growth and development in the community. And what this community needs more of is economic development, not art. I mean, I like art. It's a good thing. But they're putting the cart before the horse, because without a solid economic foundation, what they are calling cultural tourism absolutely has no significance and no meaning. And this community is going under if we don't stop and do something to help build that economic foundation and support the businesses that are the tax base for this community to build the kind of services that we need. And the response from our leadership is totally inadequate.
Holding them accountable. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Self-destruction. Yeah, it was self-destruction. Self-destruction. Yeah, it was self-destruction.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black.
Keep following the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Dr. Kester Cross, board-certified gastroenterologist, vice president of Gastro Health, Hampton University man, University of Maryland School of Medicine. He is our very special guest in this hour. Dr. Cross, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Cross, I'd like you to rank emotional intelligence, communication, and networking. If a 24-year-old young person had to ask you which one they should practice and master this year. But before you answer the ranking question, I think it's important that you share with our listeners, and it is okay to take your time. This is our longest segment. What is emotional intelligence?
Oh, wow. Yeah, EQ. So emotional intelligence, very, very important, really became enlightened to me. I didn't make it up. Daniel Goleman wrote a book in 1995. So I was in my 20s, and in my late 20s, a life coach, what we call counselors, but told me you should consider reading this book on emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence basically is on 4 pillars, which the main one is self-awareness, understanding yourself, what your triggers are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. 2, self-regulation, understanding your emotions, being able to control your emotions. 3, the third pillar, empathy. And then the 4th pillar, good communication, good, healthy communication. So all 4 of them are important. However, if I had to rank one of them, being self-aware would be where I would tell people to start. Self-awareness is the first pillar of emotional intelligence. And then just that started a journey of growth for me, Jesse, that really, really changed my life. It made me grow. It helped me become a better person, helped me become a better leader and communicator. And I stand by it. I say EQ is just as good as IQ. And that is now proven, because now we know people with high EQ skills get promoted 5 times more than people with low EQ skills. So that is just an amazing fact that we need to pay attention to. And my book is trying to share that to us, our people, our community, so we know what to learn.
I appreciate that, Doc. Let me throw something out at you, and this is going to be a semi-complicated question, but I'm sure you can help unpack it for us. I'm a martial artist. When I was very young, I started taking Taekwondo. I have 3 degrees in Taekwondo, and I'm particularly proud of that. Even though at 61, I can't quite move all of my joints the way I used to move them. But about 25 years ago, I began a system called Budokan, which is a system that is not only Taekwondo, arms and legs and kicking and punching, but it's also yogic in terms of expression. It's yoga. It's a flow. It's animal movements. It's almost a martial ballet, if you will. Mentioned 4 pillars in terms of emotional intelligence. What is the flow? Because it's easy to say you need to be more empathetic. So I segregate that in my mind until I come into contact with someone where sympathy doesn't work. I need to dig a little deeper, right? But the flow isn't just learning 1, 2, 3, or 4 of the pillars. You're talking about a human being who needs to integrate every pillar in order to flow into emotional intelligence, where there's a comfort level associated with it. Dr. Cross?
Yeah. So the flow part, very interesting concept. I typically, because sometimes I'm dealing with high schoolers, and so the frontal lobe is still forming. So I discuss the 4 pillars and ask the individual which one do they think they need the most work on. And we start with whatever is the lowest of those 4 pillars, and then we grow from that. So that would be the flow part, to not be overwhelmed with thinking of all of them. But for example, empathy, which there are certain mental conditions, as you know, that people have 0. Toxic narcissism, they have 0 empathy. But that, I'm talking about normal people. And I know you can't name anybody that has toxic narcissism.
The director of the United States government.
Hey, listen, we can't name any, right? But that being said, for normal people, empathy and any of the pillars can be learned. And it's thought that I see people get better in a month or so, but 90 days is what the thought that with practice, even like in Taekwondo, it's one thing that you need to practice. And if you practice it, you get better. And the interesting part is you're practicing on yourself, but also on real people. But empathy, the thought is trying to experience somebody, put yourselves in their shoes, understanding another perspective. You don't necessarily have to agree, but these are things that you're trying to teach an individual. Understand you haven't walked their walk, try to learn their walk, try to understand their position, and spend less time fighting and disagreeing and spend more time listening and understanding.
So it's not this or that. It's not but or. It is and. It's
Exactly.
all of this that equals emotional intelligence plus communication plus networking. It all presents itself at the same time, and you have to mix it all up exactly at the moment that you're
The
not
rhythm.
trying to be the Harvard student who came in with all of the degrees and all of the scores, but still doesn't know how to talk to a patient when a woman is sitting here in a lot of pain. And she really is not looking just for medicine. She's looking for something psychological to help her better understand what's going on in her space.
Yeah, we call it reading the room, but in healthcare, you're in the room one-on-one with a patient. And if you cannot read the situation, pick up on nonverbal cues, listening to their tone, and you're just data in, data out, it's really, really hard for you to communicate. So having healthy, good communication not only is good for the patient, it's good for any business practice, but in the healthcare business that we're in, we need people to feel comfortable. We need people to trust the physician that's talking to them. And that's when good healthcare gets delivered. Now, talent is assumed and talent is there, but in the healthcare business and in other industries, you're in a room where everybody is smart. So what separates the good doctors from the great ones are the ones that have talent, but can also communicate that to everyone. They just can't only talk to college professors. They use a lot of big words and stuff. If the patient cannot explain what you said to them when they get home to their family, you failed as a physician. That's not the patient's problem. That's the physician problem.
Doc, let me throw this at you. You're at the top of your profession, an African American gastroenterologist, board certified. You worked in many medical organizations. Question I have is, early in your career, and maybe even as a mature person in your career, there have been people who, when they walked into your office and saw you, because you were African American, all of those skills had to come together in their understanding that something for them needed to be bridged in order for them to see you as a doctor, to see you at the top of your profession, and not turn around and say, well, when is the doctor coming in the room?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So
what do you share with young Black physicians who find themselves in your own experience and in that space? Yeah.
So we were talking about self-regulation, controlling your emotions. One of the main thing is when you perceive disrespect, which may be just people not understanding the situation. For me, was controlling when I felt disrespected. And typically when I felt disrespected is the shock that it's a Black doctor, African-American doctor. I also looked younger than my age, although it's catching up with me now at 56. But you might imagine when you start medical school at 23, you would hear that Dookie Heiser, are you old enough to be a doctor? All of these challenges, which challenges your own intelligence. And so you can feel offended, but you can't move in that space. So what I tell a young person, understand what you're feeling. It's not incorrect to feel it, but your emotions don't get the last laugh. And so you move into a space of how do I fix it? And I'll just give this one example. What I started doing was my age. And so in my speech, when I'm getting to know an individual, just trying to learn them, I would kind of tell them when I finished medical school, or, hey, yeah, in the 90s, I went to the University of Maryland. Well, if it's 20 years later, you can kind of guess my age from that. So that puts people at ease thinking about ages. So the main thing is that people are going to challenge you. I've been in rooms where I went to the emergency room and the nurse thought I was the head janitor, the head of housekeeping, and walked me to a bag of garbage when I was looking for someone that was bleeding to death. I just didn't have my white coat on, but I had a shirt and tie on and was running to the emergency room, came into the emergency room, and she said, I'm so glad you're here. And I followed her because I thought she was taking me to the patient that was going to be in bed 5. And she took me to a bag of trash. I said, who do you think I am? She said, you're not the housekeeping supervisor we've been calling for hours. How do you respond in that situation? I said, I'm sorry, I'm Dr. Cross, and I'm looking for the bleed. And she turned red. She was embarrassed, but I had to stay in the moment. There was someone bleeding. So she walked me over to that. It was a lesson for her, but it was just practice for me. But there are countless times, and I'm not the only brown or a young person that was experiencing that. But that's just an example of many.
I know that you're not by yourself, because I've had 3 African-American women who are medical doctors and PhDs on this show over the course of my brief tenure in radio. And not one of them did not have some similar story when they walked into the emergency room, or when they walked into the operating room, or when they walked into a room to see a patient where they were the unique specialist in their fields, where they did not confront someone who did not believe that they had the credentials that they had. In fact, they were so credentialed, they had a PhD. That's not just the medical degree. They had an MD, PhD, the medical degree to practice medicine, but a PhD, meaning that they spent a few more years studying, more specifically, their particular discipline and craft, meaning they were superior just to be equal. But even a nurse could walk up to each and every one of them and say something, quite frankly, disrespectful. But in that moment, you can reach back and grab the ghetto if you want to and go off and create a scene, or you can accept with a level of maturity, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
What that truly means, and being able to digest it as an African American. Dr. Cross, can't thank you very enough for that insight. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Dr. Kester Cross is our very special guest in this hour. We have more to talk about. The pipeline from Hampton to Maryland to 4 children with Dr. Kester Cross. He has a lot to share on the road ahead. More on KBLA Talk 1580 in just a moment.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Esther Dillard with BIN News Now. Black Republican U.S. Representative Byron Donalds, who won the GOP primary for Florida governor, announced his running mate in Miami. NBC South Florida reports Senator Brian Avila took to the podium with Donald supporting his every word.
We will protect our communities. We will stand with law enforcement and our first responders. We will keep Florida the best state in America.
Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas is thanking Senator Ted Cruz for defending him against ethics complaints. Thomas came under fire in 2023 over allegations that he didn't disclose gifts, luxury travel, and property transactions involving a billionaire GOP mega donor. And country music legend Dolly Parton, who has a history of supporting Black artists and causes, has passed away at the age of 80. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers are about to play one of their most important series of the season. They're in Atlanta to start a 3-game series tonight against the Braves. The Dodgers have a 4-game lead over Atlanta for the second-best record in Major League Baseball behind Milwaukee. Tickets are as low as $13 for the Rams versus Chargers preseason game Thursday night at SoFi. If your budget doesn't allow you to see either team in the regular season, Thursday could be your best chance. Yes, owners of professional sports teams get in trouble too. San Francisco 49ers owner Jed York was charged with 2 misdemeanors Monday for engaging in prostitution and possession of criminal tools. York was arrested in East Palestine, Ohio, a town about 50 miles northwest of Pittsburgh. The NFL is investigating to see if York has violated the league's code of conduct policy. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Our voices aren't the minority opinion.
They're the American conscience.
This is KBLA Talk 1580.
This is America.
We got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580. Your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley.
Culture in my lifetime has been as impactful, if not more impactful, than politics or law or any other pursuit or business. You know, I like to say culture is undefeated.
Culture is undefeated. That's what Council President Marquise Harris Dawson says. And you know what? He's right. Culture is undefeated. But here's the problem. You don't get to celebrate the culture while ignoring the people who created it. And that's where this procrastination Crenshaw conversation gets real. As you know, the community sent a formal letter to Harris Dawson. We're still waiting for an official response from the city. The deadline is Friday, September 4th. But in the interim, Harris Dawson penned an open letter to the community. Okay, that's fine, but responding is not the same as answering. That said, let's not confuse fixing the parking, repairing the street lights, and repaving streets and sidewalks with finishing Destination Crenshaw. The community was promised a transformational project. So, where is it? When is this thing going to be finished? The council president says the project is being delivered on a timeline. What timeline? That's not an unreasonable question. And that's not an attack. It's not division. That is accountability. And then there's the business interruption money. So in his letter, Harris Dawson says that more than $1 million went to Doolin's on Crenshaw, and additional assistance went to a few other individuals. Oh, really? Who received the money? How much money? And who didn't? I can assure you a whole lot of folk didn't get that money. How do I know? I'm getting the phone calls. You see, transparency should not scare anybody. That's how accountability works. And that's why in our letter, we ask for an audit. But instead, what do we get? A discussion about Tavis Smiley, the pastor, the parishioners, the business owners, the people asking the questions, their motives, their ambitions, their character. Well, let me tell you something. When you can't answer the questions, attacking, insulting, and gaslighting the persons asking the questions doesn't make the questions disappear. It just makes people ask why you won't answer it. Let me be clear. We don't want to fight with the council president. We want the project finished because the people of Crenshaw are not on the sidelines, Mr. President. They are Crenshaw. And if culture really is undefeated, then respect the culture, respect the people, respect the businesses, and most importantly, respect the questions. Now, answer them. The Crenshaw Corridor community is still waiting, and September 4th is fast approaching. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Just talking louder and say nothing and say nothing.
Ready for a weekend reset? Walk it out with me, Gina A. Towns, the artist formerly known as Gina Darby, on Reflectivity Beyond Black and White, as we seek peace, understanding, and healing beyond surface level perspectives, where reflectivity becomes our inner power and resilience to transform our lives and our communities no matter what. Meet me and my crazy cool guest,
Join the Reflectivity family movement as we make sense of it all. Every bit, every morsel. We're going to nourish the mind, body, and soul unapologetically right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Every Saturday, 2 and 8 p.m. on the West Coast, 4 and 10 in the Midwest, and 5 and 11 on the East Coast. It's time for Reflectivity Beyond Black and White. It's not only hot, it's sizzling, and we're cooking.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Wally drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. We do have breaking news right here at KBLA Talk 1580. Dolly Parton died today in Nashville. She was 80 years old. And I want to talk for just a moment about the house that Whitney built. The tributes are already running, and most of them will say the same things. So they'll be true. 12th of 12 children. A one-room cabin in Smoky Mountains, 100 million records. Jolene, 9 to 5. Dollywood, a woman who built an empire out of a Tennessee holler and never once pretended she came from anywhere else. All that's true, and none of it is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about what Dolly Parton actually did with money, because there's a difference. And it's the oldest difference in American moral life between sympathy and solidarity. Sympathy is a feeling. Solidarity is a transaction. Sympathy costs you nothing but a moment. Solidarity shows up on a deed, on a ledger, on a signature line. Zacchaeus did not tell Jesus he felt terrible about tax collecting. He said, I restore it fourfold. That's the difference. One is emotion, the other is restitution. In 1973, Dolly Parton wrote a song called I Will Always Love You. It was a goodbye letter to her business partner. It was a modest country hit. Then in 1992, a young woman from Newark, New Jersey, a preacher's daughter out of a black church, raised on gospel named Whitney Houston, took that song and did something with it that no one had ever heard done to a song before. 14 weeks at number one, the biggest selling single by a woman in the history of the American record business. And every note Whitney Houston sang put money in Dolly Parton's pocket, reportedly $10 million. Now here's where the story turns, and here's why I'm on this microphone at this moment. In 1997, Dolly Parton took that money and bought a piece of property in Nashville, Tennessee, an office complex in the 12th South neighborhood near Sevier Park. In 1997, that was a black neighborhood. A Nashville historian put it plainly, no realtor in that city would have shown Dolly Parton that lot. She had to go looking for it. Every other artist in that town was buying west, buying green, buying away. She brought toward. And when she finally explained it years later, she said she wanted to be down there with Whitney's people, who are my people as well. So she called that building the house that Whitney built. Think about what that sentence contains. She did not say she gave a donation. She did not say she raised awareness. She said the wealth came through a black woman's voice, so the wealth goes back into the black community. And I will stand in that community myself. That is not charity. Charity flows downward and keeps the hierarchy intact. That's restitution. Restitution flows backward and it dismantles something. Let me be honest with you, because this program does not do hagiography. For 30 years, Dolly Parton ran a diner attraction called Dixie Stampede, a Civil War show. North against South, played for laughs in the heart of Tennessee. That was not innocent. The word Dixie is a minstrel word. It came off of a blackface stage, and it became the liturgy of the lost cause. In 2018, she took it off the building. 2 years later, before George Floyd, 2 years before the Chicks, 2 years before Lady Antebellum went looking for a new name, nobody was pressuring her. There was no hashtag. She just did it. And when they asked her why, she said something I would put in catechism. There's no such thing as an innocent ignorance. As soon as you realize something is a problem, you fix it. That's repentance, not the feeling of repentance, the act. In the tradition I was raised in, we are not here to measure a man or a woman by whether they sinned. We measured them by what they did the day they found out. And in 2020, a reporter asked her about Black Lives Matter. The 74-year-old white woman from Sevier County, Tennessee, a woman with a fan base full of people who did not want to hear it, did not hedge. She said, of course, Black Lives Matter. Do we think ours are the only ones that do? She had everything to lose by saying it. She said it anyway. So mark it down. A poor white girl from Appalachia who could have spent her whole life being told her enemies were us understood something that men with far more education and far better manners have never managed to understand, that the money follows the voice, and the voice was Whitney's. America has never had trouble producing people who felt bad about it. Dolly Parton is the one who brought the building. We're certainly going to miss the legacy of Dolly Parton now begins. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Our very special guest in this hour has been none other than Dr. Kester Cross. Dr. Cross, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you.
Dr. Cross, I'm sorry I had to get that out. Had to get that out on behalf of Dolly Parton, the people in Los Angeles, the people in Tennessee, and the people all over this country and around the world. I'm mourning at this hour, and it's something that I think matters to our conversation.
Amen. And, my grandmother, God rest her soul, would say, it's not black and white people, it's good and bad people. And you figure out whether or not a person is good or they're bad based on their actions. And what you were just sharing was the good that people do. And, thanks for sharing the good that Dolly Parton did. But
I'm going to come at people kind of hard who don't tell her whole story, because she has a whole story, and she stood up and she fought and she was honest, and she could have lost a lot of supporters. People would have stopped buying her albums, and they never stopped buying them, because when Dolly Parton said it, it was good to go. God bless and God rest the soul of Dolly Parton. What did Hampton give you that medical school could not?
What did Hampton give me that medical school could not?
Other than some good seafood right by the...
Yeah, great food. Hampton gave me, really enhanced my confidence. It was food for my soul and my mind. I really knew I could be a leader, and they had a leadership program that I was part of and got admitted to. But I was freshman class president there. And just imagine a small boy, 140 pounds from Wilmington, Delaware. Would I have been the freshman class president at University of Delaware? Probably not. But I go to Hampton University and become the freshman class president, learn the campaign and meet people. I'm meeting people all over the country. Hampton, like a lot of HBCUs, have people that look like me, but are from other areas. I get to learn the diversity of our own race, which I think is something so good. The gumbo or the soup that we learn at HBCUs, that just because we're brown, we are different, and we celebrate our differences. But when you go to places like Maryland Medical School, there was 12 of us. All 12 of us had to band together. All 12 of us had to hang together for survival. 6 of those 12 graduated from HBCU. So 50% of the brown people in medical school were from an HBCU. But Hampton gave me confidence, increased my self-esteem, and I can't thank them enough for giving me that.
My dad said it this way. I know I'm wrapping a break right here, but I got to say it. Dad said leadership is bred in majority experiences. By the time we walked out of our home at age 18 and went to North Carolina A&T State University or to any HBCU, you were in a majority experience for the first time in your life. And so you could be the president of the freshman class right when you needed to be.
Wow.
And then go to the PWI, where you have the confidence that you can take on any challenge. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. More on KBLA Talk 1580 with Dr. Kester Cross when we come forward.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you feeling the heat? LADWP can help you stay cool this summer and save money. Through the Cool LA program, eligible customers can receive instant rebates of up to $275 on new portable, window, and wall air conditioners. Shop the Cool LA Marketplace today and beat the heat and save. Learn more and apply at ladwp.com/cool-LA. That's ladwp.com/cool-LA.
Did you know the Crenshaw Corridor now offers free public Wi-Fi? Thanks to Destination Crenshaw and the City of Los Angeles, staying connected is easier than ever. Whether you're checking email, applying for jobs, doing homework, or supporting your local business, free internet access is now available along the corridor because everyone deserves the opportunity to connect, learn, and grow. To find Wi-Fi locations and learn more, visit www.getconnected.lacity.gov.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The midterm elections are upon us. It is voting season once again. Common Cause's motto is fighting for the democracy we deserve. In service of that goal, Common Cause puts its state and national policy expertise, massive network of grassroots supporters, and nonpartisan approach into action to strengthen our democracy against the challenges we face today. They work at every level of government on priorities that impact each of our lives, like defending the right to vote, limiting big money's influence on our elections, holding public officials accountable, and more. Common Cause is a nonpartisan grassroots organization dedicated to upholding the core values of American democracy. They seek to empower all people to make their voices heard in the political process. This election may be the most important one ever. If you'd like to make a donation or volunteer in service to the Constitution, please visit commoncause.org. That's commoncause.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Our very special guest has been Dr. Kester Cross. Dr. Cross is the author of an Amazon best-selling book, Open Doors, The Young Professional's Guide to Mastering Emotional Intelligence, Communication, and Networking to Turn Talent into Career Success. He is a board-certified gastroenterologist, vice president of Gastro Health, graduate of Hampton University and the University of Maryland School of Medicine. Dr. Cross, welcome forward to the show.
Thank you.
Doc, in this our final segment of the show. Of course, I leave our listeners and our guest an opportunity to have a word of hope at the end of our show. The final 2 minutes will be yours, but I got to save some lives in this segment of the show, Dr. Cross.
Okay.
Colorectal cancer.
Yes,
Colorectal
sir.
cancer. Black Americans carry the highest incidence and death rate of any group in this country, and the screening age has come down. Talk to our listeners. What should we do?
So absolutely. So the number one, I start by saying African Americans, we have the shortest lifespan. All things can be modified. We die from heart attacks, strokes, 1 and 2, then third, colon cancer and breast cancer. And you mentioned colon cancer. It's highly preventable if people are screened. And the biggest point we want to make to our men and to our women, but especially our men, that feeling good is not the same as being healthy. Feeling good is not the same as being healthy, because often I'm trying to tell a Black man, hey, you may have cancer. And he says, I feel good. Well, early colon cancer, you feel fine. And that's when the time to catch.
You ask a brother what's wrong with him, and he starts singing James Brown.
I feel good. Exactly. So we're less likely to be screened, and there are barriers to that. But when we were talking about folks with insurance and means are still the lowest subgroup to be screened, which are Black men, and Black single men have the highest death rate from colon cancer, because sometimes Black men, we're lucky enough to be married to a woman that makes our appointments for us and saves our life. But the main thing, if colon cancer is one of the biggest risks to check you out early, please get screened. Either poop in a cup, the Cologuard test, the stool DNA test, or get a colonoscopy. It'll save your life. And for everyone, someone is dependent on you. So if you don't want to do it, think about the people that you hurt by dying early. And my youngest cancer patient has been 19 in my career, and 10% of people are under the age of 50, but 90% are 50 and up. And so we want to screen people 45 and up to try to catch that 90% of folks and get that death rate to continue to go down. And it is going down because of screening, but our brown and Black population are the least screened, and we want to get that information out there that if you get screened, your chances of dying from colon cancer is under 1%. It's a decimal percentage. Getting that colonoscopy or colon cancer screen is very, very important.
Dr. Cross, what's the excuse that you hear the most?
I'm not having anything for men. I don't want to have anything stuck in my butt, or I don't want to get anesthesia. What? And I say anything you think about doing, nothing outweighs being alive for your family and for your community. You are needed. When you look at a Black man, typically, when you save their life, there's a spouse. For a Black woman, there's a husband. There's often 2 children. There are so many people affected by a premature death, which will supersede any excuse about why I can't do the test. And a lot of people treat their cars better than they treat themselves. And the most expensive thing is your body, not that core.
That's really interesting, because when I got a colorectal exam, I got everything done at the same time. I mean, I went and got prostate, colorectal, took had the anesthesia, had to take this drink, I guess 24 hours or 12 hours before to give myself a blowout. I'm a bass fisherman, so one of the goals of bass fishing is called the goal is to catch a 10-pounder.
Wow.
Now, one of the other goals, of course, when you are going through colorectal exam is to get the 10-pounder out of yourself, so that the doctor can actually see what's going on and actually make some judgments. But yes, you can get it all done at the same time if you just go the anesthetic process. Is healthcare a factor in why maybe Black men and the cost associated with it a factor in why they may not go under the anesthesia approach to?
The cost of things plays a role. But when you factor with insurance, it's still not getting done. Healthcare costs goes up. But for example, the tobacco money in Howard County was used to pay for colonoscopies for people that didn't have insurance. So there are workarounds for people, but absolutely when money factors in, it does play a role. However, that's not the biggest barrier. Once somebody comes in and they have insurance and you meet with them and sometimes they don't follow through, it's the main thing is getting their mind out of the way of their own life.
If you can get rims on your car, you can keep your car washed every single day or a couple of times a week. Some of the money we spend our money on, all you have to do is get examined so that you can be here to drive. That's
absolutely. The cars, they put premium in there and eat crap. They work hard, get their degrees, and then start smoking cigars, which takes 30 minutes off your life. Every cigar smoked takes 30 minutes, which is not a big deal if you do it every once in a while. Cigars were meant to celebrate childbirth, weddings, something you did. But here lately, our culture has made a fad of smoking cigars. Now people are smoking every day, right? So it's taking 30 minutes off your life and people are still puffing away, smoking cigars like they're not cigarettes, but they impact your time on this earth.
You hurt my feeling with that one, Doc. Doc, we have 2 minutes before we come forward, which is the end of our show. Please share with our listeners a word of hope.
In the last 2 minutes, well, one, we talked about healthcare. Health is the real wealth. I share with your listeners that chasing money is a bad game. You need money to take care of your bills, take care of your family, but have a better purpose and taking care of yourself, having the purpose. And then lastly, working on yourself. Be the best version of yourself. I wrote a book about open doors, but that's just keeping the door open for other people by being the best version of yourself, helping your community, but really take a look in the mirror. Like Michael Jackson said, he's fighting with the man in the mirror. Just look at the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror and try to make that person a better person each day. And your future self will thank you.
Dr. Cross, how can we get your book?
Books on Amazon. If you go to OpenDoorsSuccess.com, you can order it there. You can go to Amazon and look up Open Doors Kester Cross. And there's only 3 Kester Crosses in the country. So my book will pop up there and it'll be shipped to you. And there's exercise and stuff for people to do. But I appreciate the shout out and the support.
You're welcome, Dr. Cross. Dr. Cross, thank you very much for being here with us at KBLA Talk 1580. Hope you'll come back when it comes time for colorectal
March
or week or whatever that period is, and give us a breakdown leading up to it so that we can get our exams scheduled. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You've been listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Our very special guest has been Dr. Kester Cross. He's a board-certified gastroenterologist, vice president of Gastro Health. When we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580, it's still Tenacious Tuesday. Barbara Arnwine is next, and we are commemorating and remember the life of, at this hour, of the late Dolly Parton. More when we come back on KBLA Talk 1580 in just a moment.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Esther Dillard with BIN News Now. Black Republican U.S. Representative Byron Donald, who won the GOP primary for Florida governor, announced his running mate in Miami. NBC South Florida reports Senator Brian Avila took to the podium with Donald supporting his every word.
We will protect our communities. We will stand with law enforcement and our first responders. We will keep Florida the best state in America.
Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas is thanking Senator Ted Cruz for defending him against ethics complaints. Thomas came under fire in 2023 over allegations that he didn't disclose gifts, luxury travel, and property transactions involving a billionaire GOP mega donor. And country music legend Dolly Parton, who has a history of supporting Black artists and causes, has passed away at the age of 80. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers are about to play one of their most important series of the season. They're in Atlanta to start a 3-game series tonight against the Braves. The Dodgers have a 4-game lead over Atlanta for the second best record in Major League Baseball behind Milwaukee. Tickets are as low as $13 for the Rams versus Chargers preseason game Thursday night at SoFi. If your budget doesn't allow you to see either team in the regular season, Thursday could be your best chance. Yes, owners of professional sports teams get in trouble too. San Francisco 49ers owner Jed York was charged with 2 misdemeanors Monday for engaging in prostitution and possession of criminal tools. York was arrested in East Palestine, Ohio, a town about 50 miles northwest of Pittsburgh. The NFL is investigating to see if York has violated the league's code of conduct policy. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley.
Culture in my lifetime has been as impactful, if not more impactful, than politics or law or any other pursuit or business. I like to say culture is undefeated.
Culture is undefeated. That's what Council President Marquise Harris Dawson says. And you know what? He's right. Culture is undefeated. But here's the problem. You don't get to celebrate the culture while ignoring the people who created it. And that's where this procrastination Crenshaw conversation gets real. As you know, the community sent a formal letter to Harris Dawson. We're still waiting for an official response from the city. The deadline is Friday, September 4th. But in the interim, Harris Dawson penned an open letter to the community. Okay, that's fine, but responding is not the same as answering. That said, let's not confuse fixing the parking, repairing the streetlights, and repaving streets and sidewalks with finishing Destination Crenshaw. The community was promised a transformational project. So, where is it? When is this thing going to be finished? The council president says the project is being delivered on a timeline. What timeline? That's not an unreasonable question. And that's not an attack. It's not division. That is accountability. And then there's the business interruption money. So in his letter, Harris Dawson says that more than $1 million went to Doolin's on Crenshaw, and additional assistance went to a few other individuals. Oh, really? Who received the money? How much money? And who didn't? I can assure you a whole lot of folk didn't get that money. How do I know? I'm getting the phone calls. You see, transparency should not scare anybody. That's how accountability works. And that's why in our letter, we ask for an audit. But instead, what do we get? A discussion about Tavis Smiley, the pastor, the parishioners, the business owners, the people asking the questions, their motives, their ambitions, their character. Well, let me tell you something. When you can't answer the questions, attacking, insulting, and gaslighting the persons asking the questions doesn't make the questions disappear. It just makes people ask why you won't answer it. Let me be clear. We don't want to fight with the council president. We want the project finished because the people of Crenshaw are not on the sidelines, Mr. President. They are Crenshaw. And if culture really is undefeated, then respect the culture, respect the people, respect the businesses, and most importantly, respect the questions. Now, answer them. The Crenshaw Corridor community is still waiting, and September 4th is fast approaching. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Just talking louder and say nothing and say nothing.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 oh. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 oh. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, 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 oh. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Oh, oh, oh.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. I shared with you in the previous hour that Dolly Parton is now fired, dies at age 80, music legend and philanthropist. But on Tenacious Tuesday, I'd like to make a pivot now to two doors. Regarding the Supreme Court, in the space of just 8 weeks, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled twice on whether you can vote by mail. First time they protected it, the second time yesterday they cleared the road to restrict it. I want to walk you through both because if only you heard about one of them, you've only been told half the story. June the 29th, a case called Watson versus Republican National Committee. Mississippi has a law. If your absentee ballot is postmarked by Election Day, it gets counted, even if the mail carrier takes another few days to deliver it. The Republican National Committee sued to kill that law, arguing that a federal statute from 1845, that's about 15 years before the American Civil War, requires ballots to be in the government's hand by Election Day itself. Decades before the 15th Amendment to the Constitution, the court said no. 4 justices objected. 5 said yes. Justice Amy Coney Barrett wrote it, and here who joined her: Chief Justice Roberts, Justice Sotomayor, Justice Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. Justice Alito dissented with Thomas and Gorsuch and Kavanaugh most of the way. Now be precise about what happened, because the headlines are not. The court did not rule that the executive order is unlawful. That's what we were hoping. It ruled on when the states were allowed to sue. Its own order said that nothing in the decision means the government's implementation will necessarily be lawful. Time will tell, the court said, and the Postal Service is still blocked nationwide under a separate order from the same judge issued August the 11th. But listen to Justice Jackson in dissent. She wrote that the ruling needlessly injects chaos and uncertainty into the upcoming midterm elections. And she pressed the majority on the thing that ought to trouble every one of us. They would not even say when exactly is the right to bring a claim like this. Not now, not during the election cycle, then when. So set the two rulings side by side. In June, the judicial door closed on the Republican National Committee. In August, the administrative door opened for the president. The court would not let a political party shorten your deadline. The court will let the Postal Service decide whether your ballot ever reaches your mailbox, opening the door for the President of the United States to use whatever force necessary, in my opinion, to protect and enforce his executive order that the court itself did not rule on. That strategy did not lose. The strategy moved. The history. That's the pattern of my father's whole life and of mine. A method is fine until we use it. The close. And here is what makes the June victory fragile. Justice Barrett closed her opinion by saying the question was not whether the policy was good or bad, only whether it had made its way into the United States Code. That's an invitation. Mississippi's own Attorney General accepted it within weeks, calling on her legislature to repeal the grace period anyway. Statutes can be repealed, injunctions can be paused, executive orders can be signed on a Tuesday in March. 25 years ago, in my book, A More Perfect Union, Frank Watkins and I proposed 8 affirmative amendments to the Constitution. The first was an explicit individual right to vote, written into the document, where no attorney general, no postmaster, no executive order, no 5-4 majority can reach it. We still do not have it. 44 other democracies do. Democracies that emulated the U.S. Constitution. 2 doors. They closed one and opened the other. Let's stop arguing about the doors. Let's build a wall. It's time to amend the Constitution of the United States. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. It's Tenacious Tuesday. When we come forward, Barbara Arnwine will be on the grind. We're going to put a count on her because there are so many issues that we need to catch up on. And I'm so grateful for her service and for keeping our listeners across the country, and yes, even around the world, informed. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You've been listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. In this hour, of course, we are still mourning the loss of Dolly Parton. For those of you who are listening for the first time, on the 101, the 5, the 10, the 118, the 110, and the 405, Dolly Parton, music legend and philanthropist, has now passed at age 80. More on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
The KBLA 1580 app puts the realest conversations right in your pocket. Stream live wherever you are in the world. No static. No searching the dial. A crystal clear connection 24/7, exactly when you want it. We recommend that you keep automatic updates enabled. Set it and forget it. So the app stays up to date with store requirements, bug fixes, and new features as we roll them out. Download the KBLA 1580 app today and stay plugged into the conversation everyone's having.
As a fitness coach, my active psoriatic arthritis can slow me down. With Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, I'm treating my skin and joint symptoms so I can keep moving. Skyrizi, a prescription-only injection for adults, helps me move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. And for those who have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible. With Skyrizi, there's no daily dosing. It's just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement. And that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
What's good, KBLA delegation? I am Miles Lowe, and I'm excited to be joining the weekend lineup right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Join me every Saturday at 12 noon for the Do Better Show, where we get into the world of tech, AI, the creator economy, navigating your mental health through it all, and have conversations with founders to find out how real people are making real money right now. It's not a course, not a subscription. Class is in session every weekend, live on the air. If you knew better, you do better, right? So let's make a better you. The Do Better Show, every Saturday, 12 noon, and replaying again at 7 p.m. right here on Unapologetically Progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We got a lot to talk about.
Just in case you missed our Procrastination Crenshaw Town Hall.
My name is Khalifa Bey. I am the founder of the South LA Bureau of Tourism and Trade. And how this is impacting me is that I can't promote it. I won't promote it. I hear a lot of talk about everybody. Accountability is responsibility. Change your vote. Change the vote. I know there's a lot of Democrats in this room, and I get all that. But if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result, it ain't going to happen. And it's not it's about getting what we need to get done. That's what it is for me, because this is deliberate. This of our communities. You look at Chicago, you got all the black communities were built by us. We're in the same condition. So to me, it's by design. And if we don't do something to change the vote to get to what we need, stop having these meetings.
Making sure they stick to the truth. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We are now on the grind with Barbara Ardwine on KBLA Talk 1580. There's a lot of real estate that we need to cover. Gina, hit her with the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And is live. Barbara Ardwine is live on the Jesse Jackson Show. Barbara, how are you from the Transformative Justice Coalition? So grateful that you're here, Barbara.
I am doing great. Considering our errant Supreme Court, I'm doing great nevertheless.
Barbara, it's nothing but chaos and confusion. Please make sense out of it for us.
It doesn't make sense. My speculation after reading the opinion, because the opinion is worse than you think, everybody. It's the shoddiest legal work that you could ever expect from a federal court, period. The lower courts would not have written this decision because it's afactual, meaning that it ignores facts. It talks about the fact that there's no final rule, right, from the USPS, but they issued one Friday. They delivered this opinion on Monday, 3 days after the final rule was adopted by the USPS. Yet they make no reference to it. So my supposition is that they wrote this darn thing prior to Friday and let it sit, and nobody thought to pull it and update it. Or they were so anxious to get it out that they decided to ignore the fact. There's another problem with the decision that shows that it was pre-written and not not necessarily reviewed, because the court acted last week again, and she issued a nationwide injunction, which of course is not referenced whatsoever in this opinion. And so there's something wrong with the facts in this case. They're out of alignment. And so they decide based on a set of facts that aren't present as of yesterday. So it doesn't make sense. It's a per curiam decision, not signed by any particular judge. It doesn't read like any particular judge. It reads like a law clerk's written opinion notes. It's bizarre. And so there's some real questions here about how did they do such shoddy work? This is the Supreme Court of the United States, people. Lawyers, we have standards. We have jurisprudential standards that we use when we make this, when courts make decisions, and that we respect. But something's off with this decision. So that's the first thing I just want to point out. And I know that that's a heavy legal, stance, and not necessarily a layperson stance, but it's problematic because we expect the best from this court, not shoddy, bad work. And that's what we're looking at.
Shoddy legal reasoning.
Illogic.
Ketanji Brown Jackson wrote that this needlessly injects chaos and uncertainty into upcoming midterm elections. How should the states read this? How should local election boards read this? Barbara?
I think there's two ways to read this decision. One is a warning. That's the first thing. Because ultimately they say we don't take a position as to whether or not the executive order is correct. We're not ruling on the merits, but we're just saying that for this particular moment, this case wasn't ripe, but it is factually. And they're saying, and the states don't have standing because they're not injured, but yes, they are, because the rule is out and it does do damage to the states. So it's a warning, because there's an imperative question, an absolute pressing question. If the executive order is unlawful, which it is, if it's unlawful, then why would you approve it moving forward? Who says go forth and do something unlawful? It's tipping your hand that enough of you on that court thinks it's lawful when it's not.
So, Barbara, where does this? Let me try and break this down. I can't break it down any more than you can break it down, but I'm counting on you to break it down for us. Where does this leave mail-in voting?
It means that at this moment, there's massive uncertainty, as Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson correctly pointed out. What I would say is that they're showing their hand, because this thing should not have been even accepted. It should have been denied. And they're showing their hand that they somehow think that the president, who has no constitutional authority over any elections whatsoever, somehow can impose such authority. I mean, it's a real issue, because why approve it? Why say go ahead when he has no such authority? It's a bizarre case. So what I'm saying is that states everywhere should say, let's take them at their word. Even though this isn't a final order, it's a provisional order. Even though they say it's temporary, even though they say that the main case has yet to be decided, if I were a state commissioner right now, I would be putting up every drop box I could find, so that you don't have to rely on the USPS. If I were a state commissioner right now, I'd be putting up more polling sites so that voters can get to them. If I were a commissioner of elections right now, I would be looking at mobile units to go out to those nursing homes, hospitals, or I would be setting up actual polling sites temporarily at those locations, because a lot of people use early voting because it's a convenience and it helps you to not have, issues of trying to get off work on election day to vote. But other people use mail-in balloting because they cannot get to the polls. They have no accessibility to the polls. They don't have rides to the polls. They are immobile because they are infirm. They have, physical hindrances that are disabilities that make it difficult for them to get to a polling place. They don't have a car, whatever, and they can't walk that distance. So we got to come up with all the processes we can to make it easier for people to vote, in case this court ultimately does the wrong thing. Tomorrow, as early as tomorrow, I expect another appeal to mature before the Massachusetts court, and for the Massachusetts court to again take action. But there should also be new action in the district court, because remember, the issue is ripeness. The district court said, well, the case isn't ready yet because the USPS has not adopted a rule. Well, they just did. They just did. So they got to reconsider their ruling. Massachusetts has to now reissue a new ruling based on that. This is going back to the court. The issue is, what will they do when they get it again? Will they, in fact, move expeditiously? Because people, what date is it? What date is it? Most mail-in ballots start going out next month in September, in early September. Because they got to get back in on time to be received and counted in most jurisdictions. So this is a problem, because people don't know what to do. They're not sure that they should, that they can send out a ballot the way it is. Because one thing people don't understand is that not only does this rule say that you have to use their list of voters, or you cannot forward, or the USPS will not forward your ballot. If your ballot's not on the DOJ list or the Homeland Security list that is sent to the states, and if it's not on there, then your ballot is considered null and void and is destroyed. It does not exist anymore. It will never be seen by an election official.
Barbara, since when? Since when, Barbara?
I have one other really
please.
pertinent fact that most people don't know, is that this executive order also changes the way the ballot looks. It requires that the outside of the envelope that the ballot has a code, a traceable code, so they can trace your ballot. And that doesn't exist in most of the states. There is no such code at this moment. So that's why the states are freaking out, because if this becomes law, then they're really pressed. How in the world are they going to get millions of ballots out to voters? People in 2024, 45 million people, 45 million people voted by mail. So this is a serious problem. That's all I wanted to say.
So, Barbara, this code
Yes.
lets the government know who I vote, what my particular ballot says, who I voted for. It's not their business.
It's real questionable about how far this code goes. Because if it's only on the outside, then what they know is that you voted and they know that you submitted a vote, and now they know that you are somebody that they can target in the future. You know, people privacy is important. You don't want the government having all your information. You don't want them tracking your ballot, because what does that mean? That when they went into Fulton County and took all those ballots, what they gonna do? They're gonna take that envelope and match it with your ballot? Come on, folks, this is highly problematic.
Barbara, you know the history. You know the history better than most. How unusual is it for the federal government to be engaged in this local activity on the scale that is engaging the midterms in 2026?
It's absolutely unheard of. And not only is it unheard of, people, the USPS has no election authority, period. Has never done it. Doesn't know it. Well, anyway, let me be polite. Doesn't know. Let's say they're not competent.
Okay. Barbara, I think we have
to do anything having to do with elections. Since when? Somebody give me the USPS code. Read to me where it says that they are responsible for administering elections and deciding who gets to vote. Because that's what they're now going to be empowered to do under their new role, the new rule that they adopted. People, we are in for a fight. This is all part of Trump's effort to suppress the vote. People who voted last week, on Tuesday of last week by mail, who voted? Who voted?
I would imagine.
His name is Donald J. Trump.
You sure did. You sure did.
Come on, people. He voted by mail.
And so are our servicemen and women.
And the claim that somehow it's unsafe. Why are you out there using an unsafe methodology? Why are you using a methodology you claim is written with fraud and it's not good for the integrity of elections? Then why are you doing it? Why didn't you fly your behind? You had a flight that could have taken you down to Florida where you could have voted in person. You chose not to because of the same reason that average Americans use vote by mail. It's convenient. It's secure. It's a good way of making sure that you're able to be counted. And it's a way of hedging your bets that nothing's going to get in your way of actually showing up to the polls and then getting there and the polls having issues, problems, or not only not being open or worse, there being a long line that you cannot stand in. So it's a better way for many people to assure themselves that their vote is going to be processed and counted. So when they put it in that mailbox, they feel secure. So folks, we need drop boxes everywhere.
I believe the damage has already been done. We are losing faith and confidence in the system. The confusion itself is the point.
That's what they want.
Chaos and the uncertainty is the point. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr.
But we
Listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. More on the grind with Barbara Arnwine when we come forward right here at KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Esther Dillard with BIN News Now. A lightning strike killed a Black Florida mother and her 2-year-old over the weekend in South Florida. Here's the child's grieving father speaking to NBC News in Miami.
For her to lose her twin sister, words can't describe that feeling.
Tamara in Glasgow says he was standing just a few feet away when the lightning struck. DHS says ICE arrested more than 1,300 people across Maryland and Virginia in the first 2 weeks of August. That's roughly 100 arrests a day. But according to DHS's own numbers, less than half of those arrested had any criminal record. And this Saturday, New Orleans residents will march through the lower Ninth Ward for the annual Katrina March and Second Line. The Category 5 storm made landfall August 29th, 2005. It flooded the city and killed more than 1,000 people. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers are about to play one of their most important series of the season. They're in Atlanta to start a 3-game series tonight against the Braves. The Dodgers have a 4-game lead over Atlanta for the second-best record in Major League Baseball behind Milwaukee. Tickets are as low as $13 for the Rams versus Chargers preseason game Thursday night at SoFi. If your budget doesn't allow you to see either team in the regular season, Thursday could be your best chance. Yes, owners of professional sports teams get in trouble too. San Francisco 49ers owner Jed York was charged with 2 misdemeanors Monday for engaging in prostitution and possession of criminal tools. York was arrested in East Palestine, Ohio, a town about 50 miles northwest of Pittsburgh. The NFL is investigating to see if York has violated the league's code of conduct policy. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm John Wood Jr., host of the Kingdom Project, weekends on KBLA Talk 1580. Black America has a tradition of holding the United States of America to the standard of her stated principles when it comes to democracy. When the country has said all men are created equal, Black people have demanded that we mean it. In the long history of holding America accountable to the promise of her ideals, no name looms larger than Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day.
But as the country has drifted from the ideals of Dr. King, do Black people have a special obligation to revive Dr. King's philosophy? Furthermore, does the Black church have a responsibility to renew the moral leadership of America and reacquaint the nation with the gospel principles that inform Dr. King's philosophy? Tune in Sundays at 9 a.m. Pacific as I make the case for the revival of the philosophy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the moral leadership of the Black church, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jackson Jr. Show. King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk
1580. Download the app. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We're on the grind with Barbara Arnwine. Barbara is the president of the Transformative Justice Coalition. She has been a key voice on critical civil rights legislation as well as healthcare legislation, you name it. She is the go-to person for public policy for African Americans across this country and for progressives. President of the Transformative Justice Coalition, internationally renowned for all of her contributions. She serves as co-chair and facilitator of the National Commission for Voter Justice, the Millennial Votes Matters convenings, and the Voters' Rights Alliance. Barbara, welcome forward to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Barbara, how can we help the Transformative Justice Coalition?
Folks, we need your help. We're about to get out here and ride through 13 states to get out hundreds of thousands of people to vote, millions. We need your help to inspire millions of people to show up at the polls early. The only way we win, write this down, Barbara Arnwine said it today. The only way we win this election is that people vote early. You got to vote early. Did you hear me? Don't you be waiting until election day. You got to get out, get to those polls, vote early. Everybody listening should be a vote rider. You should be taking somebody to the polls with you on election day. You should be even going after, doing, early voting. You should even be going back and taking other people to go to the polls. Folks, it's all about turnout. So in order for us to do that work, we need you to make donations to us because we're going to put the John Lewis Good Trouble bus on the road. We're going to put 2 of them on the road. We're going to go to 13 states, and we're going to work in 6 other states in partnership that we won't tour. So 19 states in total, folks. You know the states. Come on. Philadelphia, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Virginia. Come on, some North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama. Come on. We're going to be there. New Jersey, get ready. We're coming. So we need you to help give. You can go to tjcoalition.org. tjcoalition.org. We need every dime because we are not just putting the buses out, we're putting our freedom riders, Gen Z. Everybody's about young people don't do nothing. Honey, we're going to have a bus of young people who are ready to do something. And they're going to go into those communities. They're going to put on celebration villages. They're going to do pop-ups. We're going to get rides to the polls. They're going to help people, get to inside the polling place. They're going to do everything they can to make sure everybody who wants to vote can vote. We intend to do, get ready for this, 130 activations. 130 plus activations. That's who we are. That's amazing. What TJC does. Please give TJC, tjcoalition.org, tjcoalition.org. We're not playing. We're serious. I'm not just here on this show talking. We're about having some real action. We're about winning. Winning. Did you hear me? Winning. Come on.
I love that, Barbara, and I want you to make my pitch for you too. Some of you can give $25, some of you can give $50, others of you can give $100, and other organizations can give more. We're not asking you to go to 19 states. We're asking Barbara Arnwine to go to 19 states for us. And I want to share something with you, Barbara, because I notice a pivot now, and I think our listeners need to understand and recognize what that pivot is. You've got Reverend Al Sharpton and Martin Luther King III having a march in Washington on the anniversary of the March on Washington in 1963. That too is a mobilization.
Yes.
Heading into November. So I'm tired of people saying, I'm tired of marching. I don't want to hear about no more. It is a pivotal moment for us to organize, speak to leaders from around the country going into November. That first. Reverend William Barber is at Yale University, and now Dr. Barber is pivoting from being a professor at Yale University because he's not leaving, but he's going to be actively engaged in the kind of work that Barber is going to be doing in 19 states, because people are leaving the academy, hiatuses and sabbaticals, or teaching their classes online. People are leaving the comfort of their pulpits, and they're going into the spaces to get the voters. This is happening. I know the Rainbow Push Coalition is sponsoring some buses that will be traveling around to various states. I know Yusuf Jackson has been in Michigan during the El Sayed campaign and helped push him over the margins in some of these critical races. And Barbara Arnwine is now telling you that the Transformative Justice Coalition, which is the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show and KBLA Talk 1580, and Barbara, what's your show called?
It's called Igniting Change. Ooh, we had a good show today.
Igniting Change. Barbara, how can we listen to Igniting Change?
You can go to WOLDC News, WOLDCnews.com, and listen to us every Tuesday from 12 to 1. We had Jason Stanley on today talking about authoritarianism, race, and the fight for democracy. It was a brilliant show. People. That's why I love coming on this show, because we do it. We talk about the real issues. This is not just some junk show, talk about celebrities did this or that. This is about what we need to know to get the business done.
We're standing on business over here at the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. So
right.
if you've got $25, if you've got $50, if you've got $100, or you have an organization that wants to be supportive of Barbara's work and be the wind beneath her wings, because you ain't going out to talk to no voters, but you should.
Yes.
But we're going to let Barbara do it too, because she does this professionally and she can do it in 19 states. Barbara, how can we give to your organization so that we can put wind beneath your wings? Once again.
TJCoalition.org. T as in Thomas, or T as in transformative, J as in justice, coalition, COALITION.org. People, support us. People, become a vote, a vote writer in your own right. Become a vote warrior. Become a good troublemaker. Come on now. Because one other thing we're going to be doing is that we're working with thousands of churches throughout the country to have Good Trouble Sundays, beginning September 20th. And we're going to be from the pulpit, making sure that people know that it's time to vote. So nobody can talk about, I didn't, I wasn't sure, We
don't need to hear all that. you hitting it out the ballpark today, Barbara. But the bottom line is we need to be supportive. Now, some of us, ain't nobody asking you to march. Ain't nobody asking you to get on a bus for 19 states. We're going to let Barbara do it, but we're going to be there with her. She'll be broadcasting from these states right here at KBLA Talk 1580. She'll be having young people on the show. She'll be talking about what they're doing, what they're confronting, and they'll be taking on apathy.
Yes.
They'll be taking on brothers who ain't got no reason to vote, don't want to vote, and all that's at stake in this election. Talking people into the process, preaching them into the process, dragging them into the process, because our votes do matter and they do count. None of this is possible without the leadership of Barbara Arnwine, and she's not just doing it on a local level. She's from Southern California. She's actually doing it in the rest of the country, because to save Southern California, she has to go to 19 states to do it.
That's
just
right.
Can't keep California separate and apart from 19 states. That's what, 36? 8, 9, and 9.
We're not playing.
38, that's 38 senators. 38 senators represented in 19 states, along with members of Congress. So moving the federal government into the direction of doing right by our people is a factor in this. Barbara
Yes.
Arnwine, more on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come back. We're on the ground with Barbara Arnwine in just a moment.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Just in case you missed our Procrastination Crenshaw Town Hall.
My name is Bronwyn, and I've been in this neighborhood for 65 years.
All righty.
I was raised here, right on Crenshaw Boulevard. Ancestry, legacy, everything. No parking. In regards to our elderly, in regards to trying to get from one end to the other, 48th and 50th Street is a dead zone. You got to get off the bus and you got to make your way down in the middle of the block. I'm right across the street. I understand one of the things. I am happy to see you guys. I've been in too many meetings where you weren't there. I understand those who own the buildings and your properties. I understand those who rent from you. Here it is. Why can't we invest in each other?
Making sure they follow through. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. In a clinical study, Eliquis apixaban reduces stroke risk and has less major bleeding than warfarin.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Ask your doctor about the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner, Eliquis.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is connecting you with services and solutions. Domestic violence and family violence is when someone in an intimate or family relationship tries to gain or maintain power and control over another through a wide range of abusive behaviors. Every single act may amount to abuse. Abuse can take on various forms: psychological and emotional, physical and economic, and sexual abuse. The Genesee Center Incorporated is a nationally recognized nonprofit domestic violence prevention and intervention organization, housing women and children from 30 days up to 2 years through emergency and transitional shelters. The Genesee Center also provides support services like mental health counseling, life skills classes, computer training, job referrals, after-school programs for children, field trips, tutoring, and comprehensive direct legal services. If you need help or you'd like to donate or volunteer, call the Genesee Hotline, 1-800-479-7328. That's 1-800-479-7328, or visit Genesee.org. Everyone has the right to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. It's Tenacious Tuesday on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, and that means in our second hour, we're always on the grind with Barbara Arnwine. Love you, Barbara. How are you?
I'm great, and I'm glad to be here today. Thank
Barbara,
you for all that you do.
Barbara, let me ask you a question, because it has been dominant in the news, and there has been some fissure, if you will, within the Democratic Party. Does it really matter in this environment, one way or the other, if you're a moderate Democrat or a Democratic socialist? Aren't we just trying to regain control of the Congress and regain control of the nation's sanity? Isn't it a distraction to even be talking about inter-party direction and inter-party angles when we're talking about a numbers game? We need to get to 218, Barbara.
Well, let me be very clear. I'm nonpartisan, right?
Yep.
Yes, but let me say something. I've heard some really ridiculous stuff from people.
It's out here now.
Come on, folks. Angie Nixon in Florida. I've watched that sister for years. She didn't win because she put Democratic Socialists, or somebody says she might be a TSA person. She won because that sister's been in the trenches. Yeah. I watched her in fight after fight after fight. I watched her, be threatened with prosecution, which she still is under threat of being in prison for years. She has fought for Black folks. She has fought for people of color. She has fought for women. She's been in those trenches. That's why people voted for her. They know her. They know who she is. They know her character. They know her quality. And she worked hard on that trail. One thing, people, I don't care how good you are. If you don't get out there and beat the darn bushes, I don't care if you've been in Congress, still in Congress, people are going to vote for you. They hate a lazy campaigner. They hate it. They hate when people don't come and ask for their votes. She did that over and over and over and over again. That's why Zoran Mandani and people like that are winning, because they are campaigning. They have a record, and people know they mean what they say, that they're not just talking talk. These are serious candidates, serious people who, if elected, will do precisely what they said they're going to.
They're touching people, Barbara.
Right.
I mean, they're not just policy.
That's the bottom line.
Touching people. Didn't Mandani say he was going to walk every street in the city of New York?
Give him credit.
He did just that?
Yes. And that's
different.
Angie. You're describing Angie. You're describing these people, these candidates, people.
That's different.
And it's you can't win if you don't have that kind of capability, that kind of desire. And I just think that, the people are making mistakes. And I'm hearing some really bad political analysis. And, because I am nonpartisan, I can't always talk about what the parties are doing right and wrong. But people absolutely need to stop some of this nonsense about labeling people and saying that they shouldn't be elected because of some label you put on them when they are absolutely the best candidates out there. Oh,
Barbara,
by the way, Florida. I want to give some shout outs to the people who turned out to fight against the whole, taking over these school boards in Tennessee and in Florida, where they have been erasing Black history, denying, women's studies. Listen, I am so happy that people are listening, that people are fighting for a better America. We can turn this thing around, but folks, I don't care what you say, what you go out there and and talk to your buddies about. What matters is, do you vote? if you don't vote, you don't count. And you can talk all the trash you want to, but ultimately the trash that counts is what you put in the ballot box. I want to say to everybody, it's all about voting. Everybody you talk to them about voting. Everyone and vote early. Vote early. October 17th. Mark it on your calendars. October the 17th will be the next No Kings. But it's going to be No Kings Vote Early Day. October the 17th. No Kings Vote Early Day throughout the United States. That's a Saturday. It's in the middle of early voting. Then on the 24th will be Vote Early Day also. That's Saturday. Once again, it bridges, early voting. And that's when New Jersey, Florida, a whole lot of states start early voting. Folks, now's the time. I don't want to hear nothing about, I didn't know it was time to vote. That's our fault. That's your fault, but it's also our fault because we got to be out there where people are like, okay. I done heard it enough. Okay, I know it's time to vote. So we got to get there. Thank you, everyone who does this work. I have nothing but love and joy in my heart for you because if we believe that we can make a difference, then we got to show it. Thank you.
Barbara, let me ask you this question. I know we have just 3 minutes before we come forward, and I may not even get to your word of hope. But when I think about, for example, Atiba's work on his website from our Monday show, Thursday show, he's got where you live, how you can register to vote. All of these things are on his website to allow people to register. And he keeps saying that we need to check our vote.
Yes.
That we need to make sure we're still registered.
True.
That high school students, if you're 17 years or older, you can register and vote and participate in the November election. If you're a student and you go to Morehouse College or you go to Alabama A&M or you go to Tennessee State University, we'd ideally like you to register where you are in the local community where your college is. You're not going back to Chicago to vote. You're not going back to New York to vote. And there's a chance that your ballot could get lost in Trump's process. So we need you to vote, as Barbara Arnwine is saying, in person. Barbara, we have about 2 minutes before we come forward, and I know you broke it down for us today. But tell us, what should we do as individuals? What can we do right now?
We are the difference. We are the difference makers. Our good troublemaking will make all the difference. Right now, I want you to come up with a list. Sit down, go home, talk to your family, and make a list of everybody you know who did not vote in 2024, who was old enough, eligible to vote, and sat home or did not register to vote. Folks, voter registration is closing in a whole lot of states on October 5th. It is imperative that all your relatives down in South Carolina, Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, all, you know who they are. Call them right now and say, I want to make sure you're going to vote this year. I don't want to hear it. Tell me now why you say you're not going to vote. And then talk with them and make them understand how desperately critical it is that they vote this year. Our hope is in our hands.
Barbara,
our hands.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You've been listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Barbara Arnwine has been our special guest on Tenacious Tuesday. More on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.